Good afternoon, students.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Hello. Ayan, okay. So, I will be discussing reading and writing. So, let us start. I divided this presentation into seven parts, okay? The first one being the techniques in selecting and organizing information. Now, I am more on um, I'm more focused on the writing part class, okay? So, selecting and organizing information. We're talking about the ways that you can um, choose your topics in writing, okay? So, we have four techniques in selecting and organizing information. Now, you don't have to really memorize everything, class, but like what I always say to my students, focus more on familiarizing yourself with the terms so that when it appears in your in your exam, mas madali niyo siyang mare-recall, unlike yung minemorize ninyo na may apat na techniques, things like that. Okay, so much better if you just focus on familiarizing yourself, because what happens when you take the exam is there will always be options. Okay, so in those options, make sure to choose the choice that is closest to the meaning of the term being presented per item. Okay? So again, familiarization. Okay? Wag naman sanang mapadpad sa or mapunta sa ay familiar kaso nakalimutan na. Hopefully hindi ganoon ang mangyari. Pero again, do not focus on memorizing, focus on familiarizing yourself with the terms, the keywords that usually I highlight or I put the keywords in bold letters. Okay? So first one is, you've heard this before, of course, brainstorming. Okay? Brainstorming, as we all know, can be done individually or by group. But this one, when it comes to selecting and organizing information, it means you are generating ideas, okay, by listing ideas spontaneously. Okay? Writing down anything that comes to your mind about a topic. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung technique na nagsusulat ka ng sunod-sunod lang na basta anything that pops into your mind, nililista mo siya because that's what brainstorming means. Okay? You're generating ideas that is related to a certain topic. So, for example, you chose music. You want to write about music. When you do brainstorming to think about or to choose an idea or a specific topic, what you do is you write maybe hip hop or Ariana Grande or Taylor Swift or classical or R&B, okay? Or maybe you want to talk about notes, for example. So music, there are a lot of things that are related in music, but because you want to focus on a specific topic only, you can use this one, brainstorming. So that's the point of brainstorming, okay? Brainstorming is listing ideas spontaneously. Next is graphic organizing. It is a visual display, okay? Out of all the four techniques that I'm going to present to you, ito lang yung graphic organizing lang yung merong visual na display, okay? Because as you can see from the example right next to it, ayan, so that's an example of a graphic organizer, or if you're familiar with Venn diagram, that's also another graphic organizer, okay? So what it does is it demonstrates relationships between facts, concepts, or ideas, okay? So you're branching out from a broad topic to more specific ones using graphic organizing. But take note of the difference. Brainstorming is listing, graphic organizing is a visual display. Okay? Next is number 3, topic outline. Now, we actually, tatlo lang naman talaga tong techniques. Okay? Brainstorming, graphic organizing, and outline. But since there are two types of outlines, I'm going to mention both of them. So, wait, sorry. Ayan. So, outline is basically, ayan, sequentially by classifying the main topics, subtopics, and supporting details. It uses words and or phrases. So the difference between that and the sentence outline is, of course, sentence outline uses sentences. So if you still remember outline when you were in grade 11, ito yung mayroong mga Roman numerals na ginagamit. And then sa baba noon, meron namang um, uppercase na mga letters. And then doon yung nililista A, B, C, D, nandun yung mga ideas ninyo. And when you want to input some examples, ginagamitan nyo ng 1, 2, 3, 4. So yun yung outline. Hopefully you still remember that. But ito nga, para mas maalala natin. So it's a technique in selecting and organizing information. Okay? So topic outline, it uses words or phrases. Kaya nga it's a topic. Okay? Maikli lang siya. So it can get a little bit broad, unlike itong sentence outline, which uses sentences, so it's more specific. So just to give you an idea of what it looks like, this is how it looks like. Your sentence outline. So, nandyan yung Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yung katabi nun, yun yung mismong sentence outline. Everything is written in sentences. So, of course, if I change this into a topic outline, hindi na siya sentence. It will be words or phrases only. So, again, those are the 4 techniques in selecting and organizing information. Number 1 is brainstorming, which is done by listing ideas. Graphic organizing, which is a visual display, and the outline, which shows main topics, subtopics, and supporting details. It has one topic outline that may use words or phrases, and two sentence outline that uses sentences. Okay? On to the next one. So fast-paced lang kasi again, this is just a review. So we're done with the techniques in selecting and organizing information. Next is the patterns of written text or writing patterns. Okay? So first of all, what is writing pattern? A pattern of development is a specific strategy writers use in developing ideas. This serves as a guide in the flow of your article. So, of course, that's the purpose of having a writing pattern. When you are writing an essay or an article, you must always have a writing pattern that will serve as your guide in the flow of your ideas or the concepts that you are presenting. Okay? So, ano-ano ba yung mga patterns that we can use? Of course, different patterns correspond to your different purposes in whatever it is that you are writing. So, una, you can use the writing pattern narration. Okay? From the word narrate, it's like telling a story. Two is description from the word describe. Okay? You are describing something. Later on, we will dig deeper into that, pero mabilis lang din, okay? Third is definition. So again ha, just familiarize yourself, especially one technique para mas madaling mag-familiarize is by looking at the um, root word of every term. Narration. The root word is narrate. So definitely yung definition niyan is related to its root word narrate. Okay? So the writing pattern is related on how you narrate. Okay? Hope you get it. I hope you're getting my point. Okay, so 4 is exemplification, exemplify or using examples. 5, comparison and contrast. So we're talking about similarities and differences. 6, cause and effect. 7, process analysis. And 8, excuse me. All right, 8 is division and classification. 9, problem solution. And 10, persuasion. Okay, so let's define each of those. Again, we're talking about writing patterns that you can use as a guide in writing your article or essay or whatever it is that you're writing. That involves paragraphs, of course. Okay, so narration. Narration is again just like telling a story. It uses chronological order, meaning sunod-sunod yung ideas mo. Hindi pwedeng magulo yung pagkaka um, organize ng ideas. So it uses transitional devices such as first, then, soon, and after. But take note, narration is different from process analysis, which I will later on discuss, okay? Kasi pareho sila na parang may similarity na ginagamit or yung mga signal words like first, then, soon. Pero take note na ang narration is just like telling a story. It's different from telling a process. Okay? Hope you get my point. And then two, description. It employs observation, describes how a subject looks, sounds, feels, smells, or even tastes. It uses sensory language as transitional devices. So, madali mong malalaman kung yung binabasa mo ay gumamit ng description na writing pattern when you can see words that are related to your senses. Okay? Sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of touch, sense of taste. Ayan. So, kung ganun yung mga nababasa mo na words, definitely ang ginamit na pattern is description. Okay? So, pwedeng ganun yung lalabas sa lahat. May ipapresent na paragraph or sentence and then or group of sentences that you have to identify kung anong writing pattern ang ginamit. So, narration ba yan? Just because meron bang first, then, soon, and after, narration na kaagad, baka mamaya process analysis yan. So, it also depends on the context. It depends on the situation. Okay? Definition, it defines a term, its class, and specific details. Definition is different from, okay, definition is different from description. Description is all about describing, okay, through senses. Ang definition naman, you are defining it, you're giving it meaning, and you're also providing its class and other specific details. Okay, so magkaiba din yun. Exemplification uses detailed illustrations for clarification. For exemplification, madali mo siyang makikita kasi or madali mo siyang ma-identify because it mentions different examples. So like I said earlier, madali mong maaalala yung mga terms na ito kapag na-present siya sa isang item kapag naalala mo yung mga root word nila. Okay? Always look at the root word. So narration, description, definition, exemplification. Next is comparison and contrast. So of course, comparison refers to the similarities, contrast refers to the differences. Okay? So, yung iba kasing students, nalilito pa rin sa dalawang word na to, comparison and contrast. Take note na when you compare, you're looking for the similarities. But when you contrast, you're focusing on the differences. Okay? So, for comparison, it uses signal words like similarly, in the same way, likewise, in like manner, in a similar fashion, etc. So, bakit may mga signal words pang binibigay dito si Miss Beth? It's for you to, again, familiarize yourself or it's for you to remember na kapag pinresent sa inyo yung isang paragraph na maraming ganitong words, similarly, in the same way, likewise, um, it means it used comparison. Okay? So, for contrast, it uses signal words such as yet, nevertheless, nonetheless, after all, but, though, and etc. So, again, comparison and contrast are different, pero they're both used as a writing pattern. Okay? So, next is cause and effect. Parang madali lang siya intindihin kasi nga naman, you're just looking for the reason and the effect. Okay? Pero, minsan nakakalito rin kasi nga yung mga signal words. Okay? But always, look at the context. Pag sinabi mong context, yung pinaka pumapalibot sa kanya na idea. Okay? So, explores why things happen and what happens as a result. Signal words for this reason. Ayan. It follows as a result, as a consequence, thus, and therefore, etc. So, kapag cause and effect yung ginamit na writing pattern, iyon yung mga usual na words na mababasa mo. Next. So, number 7 is process analysis. Again, ha, especially din sa kararating lang, do not focus on memorizing these things. Focus on familiarizing yourself with the term itself. so that when you're presented with a sentence or a paragraph that refers to it, you immediately recognize what term was used. Okay? So, process analysis describes how things work, involving a series of steps in chronological ordering, transitional expressions such as first, second, then, and finally are used. So, this is what I was talking about earlier, that process analysis is different from narration. Narration is like telling a story. Let's go back to narration pala muna. Ayan. So, makikita nyo, di ba, meron din siyang first, then, soon, and after. Ibig sabihin, yung paragraph na ipapresent sa inyo, may mga ganyang words na ginagamit. Pero, nakakalito siya kasi nga pwede siyang narration, pwede rin siyang process analysis. Tulad nito, yung mga transitional expressions niya, may first, second, then, and finally. But take note, narration is like telling what happened or telling another person a story, while process analysis is telling the process, the steps in chronological ordering. Okay? I hope I'm making it clear for everyone. Eight is division and classification. So, this is also a writing pattern wherein in division, a category is divided into subcategories, while in classification, the writer develops criteria into subcategories based on their relationship. Okay? So, take note of the difference between the two. Division is breaking down into subcategories. Okay? While classification, developing criteria in the subcategories based on their relationship. Okay? So, next, problem solution. So, of course, here, the writing pattern presents a problem, discusses why it is a problem, and concludes by highlighting the connection between the problem and the solution. So, madali lang naman kahit walang signal word, alam mo na kaagad kung ano yung ginamit na writing pattern because it's easy to spot when someone is talking about a problem and when someone is presenting a solution for it. Okay? So, next, last writing pattern is persuasion. Persuasion, in other words, means convincing. Okay? So, persuasion convinces readers to believe a claim or a point. So, iba pa rin siya dito sa, pwede kasi siyang maging kahawig ng description or definition. Pero dito sa persuasion, there is eagerness. Okay? From the writer to the readers. Convinces readers to believe a claim or a point. So again, those are the writing patterns that you can use or that you can spot from a book or a paragraph. Number one is narration. Number two is description. Again, it uses describing words. It targets your senses. Number three is definition. It tells you it presents a term, it gives you the meaning of it, and it tells its class. Exemplification gives you specific examples. Five, comparison and contrast gives you the similarities and differences. Okay? So definitely may dalawang idea na pinapresent dyan. Cause and effect, of course, presents the cause and the effect. And then process analysis gives you the steps for making a product, for doing something. Division and classification, breaking down into subcategories or classifying things. And then problem solution, of course, presenting a problem and then presenting a solution, showing their relationship afterwards. And then persuasion is the way of convincing the readers. So hopefully, kahit makita lang yung term na yan, medyo naaalala na natin kung ano yung meaning nila. Okay? So next is, third part of our review is the properties of a well-written text. When you say properties of a well-written text, these are the things that you must um, see, okay? That you must perceive from a text. Paano, ibig sabihin, Ang tanong dito is, paano mo malalaman kung well-written yung text na yon? Okay? Kayo ba, alam ba ninyo kung paano nyo malalaman if you're writing or if your essay was well-written? So it should have these 4 properties that we're about to discuss right now. Okay? Number 1 is organization. Number 2 is coherence and cohesion. Number 3 is appropriate language use. And number 4 is proper mechanics. So, sana medyo nagre-ring ng bell itong mga ito sa isip nyo ngayon. Kasi for sure, nabanggit na yan, lalo na yung coherence and cohesion na maraming nalilito dyan before. Okay, so kung nalilito pa rin, tignan natin baka ngayon luminaw na. Okay, so properties of a well-written text. Again, these are the things that tell you whether your essay or your article was well written. Let's start with the first one, organization. So, organization, from the word organize, so tignan nyo ha, laging ganun yung ginagawa ko, going back to the corner, going back to the root word. Ayan. Organization. Organize. So, kapag nag-organize ka, nag-a-arrange ka. Right? Organization, therefore, refers to the arrangement of ideas. Pag nagsusulat ba tayo ng essay, ino-organize ba natin ng maigi yung ideas natin? Yan. So, shout out sa mga naging students ko na pinagsusulat ko ng essay dyan. Kamusta na kaya kayo ngayon? Kamusta na kaya yung mga essay ninyo? Meron na bang organization or arrangement of ideas? So, organization must be, syempre, hindi yung putso-putso lang na organization. It should be good organization, which is achieved through creating an outline. So, number 1 property of a well-written text is organization that refers to the arrangement of ideas. Okay? Ano ba yung dapat na mauna? Ano ba yung, pwede kasi gumamit ka ng logical, which is yung typical na ginagamit ng mga writers, typical na pagkakaintindi ng lahat sa atin. Okay? Pwede ding empathic, wherein you're emphasizing. So, yun ha. Yun na naman, nandun tayo sa root word. Emphatic, emphasizing. Okay? Meron kasing mga writer na kahit um, hindi sila gumamit ng specific na sequence in writing their ideas. They're just using what they want to emphasize first. So that's emphatic. So yun yung organization class, okay? Arrangement of ideas. Number 2 is coherence and cohesion. Refers to the connection of ideas. Yun yung coherence class. And then connection between sentences and between paragraphs, yun yung tinatawag natin na cohesion. And sorry kung nag-mute minsan kasi ako yung inuubo right now. Okay. So, coherence and cohesion, ito na yung lilinawin natin. Okay? When you say coherence, it is the connection of ideas. Ibig sabihin, yung sunod-sunod mo ba na binabanggit or pinapresent na ideas or concepts in your essays, are they related? Are they connected to one another? O lumalayo ka na sa topic mo? That's coherence. Okay? Makikita nyo rin yan sana. Sa cohesion naman, it is about the connections between sentences and between paragraphs. Yung sentences mo ba right now ay related sa isa't isa? Or bigla kang may na-skip? Okay? Sa paragraphs, ganun din. Connected ba yung mga paragraphs mo? O malalayo na yung relationship nila? So, coherence is about the connection of ideas. Cohesion naman is for paragraphs and sentences. Okay? So, more technical yung sa cohesion. Yung sa coherence naman, based sa understanding natin yan, nalalaman kung connected ba yung ideas. Next is number 3, the appropriate use of language. Dapat talaga appropriate. Okay? Pero yung pinaka-property lang talaga dito that is being talked about is the use of language. So, of course, it depends on what kind of paper you are writing. Okay? So, the appropriate use of language refers to the acceptable style of language for a particular form of text. So, it can be formal or informal. So, of course, kung academic paper yan, formal ba or informal? What do you use? Academic paper like research paper, class, is it formal or informal?
Formal po.
Okay, very good.
Formal
That's
po.
okay, formal. How about if it's creative writing? Is it formal or informal?
Formal po.
Pag creative writing, formal or informal?
Informal.
Okay, very good. That's informal. Okay, so appropriate use of language. It must be appropriate to whatever paper you are writing. Next is mechanics. So sa mechanics naman, ito yung specific na conventions natin. Okay, so capitalization, punctuation, spelling, numerals, abbreviations, acronyms, and contractions. So these four things: organization, which is the arrangement of ideas; coherence and cohesion, coherence that shows the connection of ideas; cohesion naman yung sa sentences and paragraphs; the use of language, whether formal or informal; and mechanics, ito yung mga properties that tell you whether a text is well written or not. Okay? Apat lang yan. Again, do not memorize, just familiarize yourself with the term. Para kahit example yung binigay sa inyo, kahit application yung style ng test, madali nyo malalaman kung alin doon yung pinakita. Is it coherence and cohesion? Kung ang situation ba ay na binabanggit, for example, punctuation and spelling, alin dito yung, for example, meron siyang mga maling spelling, o alin dito yung wala siya sa properties of a well-written text. Is it organization, coherence, language use, or proper mechanics? Kapag may mga maling spelling and punctuation, saan siya dyan? Saan nang wala siya?
Proper mechanics po.
Organization.
Okay, actually, it's proper mechanics. Okay, so tama yung sumagot kanina. So, pagdating sa mga spelling na yan, sa mga acronym, sa mga abbreviation, punctuation, proper mechanics, ang wala siya kung mali-mali yung spelling niya and all that. Okay? So, yun lang. Again, familiarize. Kasi, yung sa organization natin, pinag-uusapan lang dyan is the arrangement of ideas. Walang kinalaman dyan yung mga spelling, yung mga grammar, yung mga punctuation. Okay? Sa mechanics lang yun. So, take note of that. Okay? Next. So, critical reading. Fourth part. Ito lagi kong binabanggit sa klase ko because, of course, you're reading literature, you must use critical reading so that hindi ka nagiging uto-uto sa mga panitikan or sa mga literary works na binabasa mo. So, critical reading, when you read critically, it means you are thinking critically. Paano mo ba malalaman kung critical thinking? Nasa ospital ba siya? Yung ba yun kapag critical na? So, of course not. Okay? Thinking critically means you are asking questions. Yun lang pinaka-basic na explanation for that. But it also means critical reading involves evaluation of claims, seeking definitions, judging information, demanding proof, and question assumptions. Then that means you are thinking critically. So, critical reading class is also what we call effective reading. Okay? Yan ang effective reading kasi hindi ka lang basta nagbibigkas ng mga salita, you are also asking questions. Should I believe whatever it is that I am um, reading right now? That's critical reading because you're asking questions. Critical reading equals critical thinking. Okay? Next. Okay. Claims. Ano ba yung mga claims natin? What does it mean? Claim is basically the writer's point or position regarding a chosen topic. Okay? So it is the central argument or the thesis statement of the text. And it has three types: claims of fact, claim of value, and claim of policy. Claim is basically a sentence class, okay, that tells your position on a topic or your opinion about something. So, claim of fact muna tayo. Claim of fact states a quantifiable assertion or a measurable topic. So, wag na natin gawing complicated. Claim of fact states something that is a fact. Okay? So, that fact can be something that existed, that exists right now, or will exist based on the data. So, an example is the Earth is warming rapidly. It tells you a fact that is existing right now or that is happening right now. That's a claim of fact. So, may choices naman palagi. So, hindi kayo mahihirapan i-identify siya. So, right now, wala naman tayong kino-compare, wala naman tayong pinapersuade sa tao. Sinasabi lang natin na the Earth is warming rapidly. Therefore, it is a claim of fact. Next, claim of value. How do you know if it's claim of value? Yung sentence na binabasa mo. It means that it asserts something that can be qualified. So, pwedeng moral, philosophical, or aesthetic topics ito. Alin yung mas mabuti, alin yung mas maganda. So, yun yung pinag-uusapan dito. These topics try to prove that some values are more or less desirable compared to others. It makes judgments on whether something is right or wrong, good or bad, or something similar. So example is, it is more advantageous for a Filipino child to grow up speaking Filipino instead of English. So makikita niyo dyan, nandyan yung value na kino-compare niya kung alin ang mas magiging positive para sa bata, yung magsalita ng Filipino ba or magsalita ng English. So dito sa kanya, it is more advantageous daw na magsalita ng Filipino. So that is claim of value. This time, we are comparing. Okay, we are saying that something is better than the other. While in the claim of fact, we're just simply stating a fact. Okay. Next is claim of policy. So this one, from the word policy, it has or it uses the words should, ought to, or must. So the government must devote more funds to building schools than building roads. So nagbibigay siya ng solution, nagbibigay siya ng action. That's one thing that you also have to remember. Policy is related to or suggesting an action. The government must devote more funds to building schools than building roads. Hindi ka lang basta-basta nag-state ng fact, hindi ka lang basta-basta nag-compare dito. Nagbibigay ka ng suggestion na dapat gawin ng government. That is claim of policy. So that's claim. Again, claims are the writer's position about a topic. It can be claim of fact, claim of value, claim of policy. So next is the context of text development. Pwedeng hypertext, pwedeng intertext. So basically, dito, yung hypertext and intertext, it just tells you how you can get more information about something. Okay? About a book or an article that you are reading. Hypertext is a nonlinear way of showing information. Nonlinear siya because you're not just you don't have to read the whole book in a linear way just to get more information. Okay? Dito, the information appears as links and is usually accessed by clicking. So, an example of this one is itong pinapakita ko. Can you see the picture of Wonder Woman? Kita ba?
Yes po.
Yes,
Okay. Nasaan dito yung hypertext? For example, you want to look for the cast. Okay? The hypertext that will give you the context of a text is when you click the word cast. Ayan yung number 2. Pag kinlik mo yan, lalabas na yung mga information, additional information. That is what you call hypertext. It is non-linear. You don't have to read in a linear way just like how you read using a book. Hypertext, you just click a link. Okay? Nandun yung mga keywords ha, yung link, yung non-linear way. Next is intertext. Sa intertext naman, the modeling of a text meaning by another text. the connections between language, images, characters, themes, or subjects depending on their similarities in language, genre, or discourse. Ayan. Always influenced by previous text. So, this is an example of intertextuality. Para siyang adaptation. So, na-discuss naman na ninyo yung adaptation, right? Meron siyang mga, ayan, ginamitan niya ng modeling. Kaya nagkaroon ng context of text development. Si Bernardo Carpio, meron siyang mga kinuhang ideas from Poseidon. Si Poseidon yung nag-model. That's intertext. Okay? So this view recognizes that the text is always influenced by previous texts and in turn anticipates future texts. So yan yung context of text development. You can use hypertext, you can use intertextuality. Last one na lang, class. So process of writing, ito lang yung mga terms that you have to remember. So pre-writing, this one involves the generation of ideas. Okay? Generating of ideas. Ibig sabihin, bago ka pa magsulat, ito yung mga naghahanap ka lang mga pang-topic mo. Thesis statement means 1 to 2 sentences that shows the central idea of your essay. Outline is the skeletal version of your essay. If you remember earlier, I showed you the topic outline and sentence outline. That's basically what an outline is. It's a skeletal version of your essay. Normally uses Roman numerals and uppercase and lowercase letters. You also have to remember this. It's also very important. Revision and editing. Dalawang salitang dalas na kinalilituhan ng mga estudyante. Revision is different from editing. Revision is the process of going back through your whole draft from start to end, improving on, or ito yung tandaan ninyo, clarifying your writing subject's meaning. Iba ang revision, iba ang editing. Bakit? Kasi yung editing naman, specific lang ang binabago mo. You are revising by line, word per word, according to proper grammar, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. Sa revision, idea mo mismo ang binabago mo. Minsan kasi yung draft natin na nauna, biglang you found out something na, ay, iba pala dapat point ko or mas ano pala, antay pala ako, hindi pala ako pro. Revision yon. Pwede rin na sa revision, meron ka nabanggit doon na idea na hindi na pala related. So, it's more on ideas. Editing naman is more on convention, the mechanics. Sa editing, ang ginagawa mo is binabago mo yung mga word, grammar, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. So, let's just do a few exercises. Try to answer. Ayan. So, what do you call the pattern of development that is a specific strategy writers use in developing ideas? This serves as a guide in the flow of your article. Anyone who can answer this one? That is, okay, very good. That is writing pattern. Okay, pattern of development used in developing ideas. Next, technique in selecting and organizing information that visually demonstrates relationships between concepts, ideas, and facts. What do you call this technique?
Graphic organizing.
Graphic organizing po.
All right, very good. Graphic organizing. How about this one? So my choices to exemplification, description, process, persuasion are critical thinking techniques ba or patterns of writing development? A or B?
Letter B.
Letter B po.
Letter
Okay, that
B.
is letter B. Writing patterns. Next, a property of a well-written text that shows connection between ideas. Is this cohesion or coherence?
Coherent po, ma'am.
Okay, next. Next is, ayan, dinosaurs were the first ones to live on Earth before the humans. Anong claim ang ginamit? Is it claim of fact, value, or policy? Dinosaurs were the first ones to live on Earth before humans.
Claim of fact.
Okay, that is claim of fact. Very good.